Horrific Visions go live this week, depending on what day of the week or wherever you live. Tuesday for the NA servers, Wednesday for the European servers. We got these going live. This is honestly the main content I was excited for this damn patch. So the fact that we've waited about a month into the patch now to actually get these things is kind of sad. But they're going to be here. They're going live. Let's take a quick review of everything coming with these Horrific Visions Revisited.
Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dale, and in just a handful of days, players will be able to re-experience some old abandoned content that has been revived for the War Within expansion. Though the whole Visions itself has been revamped, both in its rewards, but also in the way that you experience it, making this content much better for solo players, so if you're into delves, you may actually find Visions right up your alley. Thus, if you're looking to dive into some challenging content, you'll be able to upgrade your vision runs to be extra challenging.
I have fond memories of Horrific Visions. I used to like them. There was the frustrations of like one mistake oftentimes, got you kicked out of the Horrific Visions. You messed it up and then you had to go back out into the open world and regrind the currency to go back into another Horrific Vision. That sucked. But luckily, that's been eliminated here. We don't have those same currency grinds anymore. It's basically just go in, do the Horrific Vision, do it over and over again if you want, and get the stuff that you want to get out of it. So I'm excited to do these.
To collect some of the best rewards out there. Speaking of rewards, you'll be able to obtain a variety of different collectibles, but also gear upgrades and currency, which will be an additional source of gear progression during the Turbo Boost event. We're also getting a new sort of enchant called Corruptions, which offer you a little bit of a taste of the void and allowing you to channel it in order to grow your character even stronger for the season. But also an opportunity for us to be able to finally get access to one of the most unique mounts that we data mined a while ago, but it's finally made available, and that is the Voidfire Death Cycle mount, which looks absolutely amazing. So for today's video, I want to go over everything you need to know regarding Horrific Visions and the return dropping in just a handful of days. As always, if you guys want to see more regular updates such as these for the War Within expansion, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in.
Yes, let's.
So first of all, what are Visions? Which are essentially content from Battle for Azeroth that has been revived for the War Within. As part of this elements of catch up when it comes to gear, but also a new opportunity for players to collect a bunch of cool cosmetics, but also find a way to make the content a little bit more evergreen as well. It's a scenario.
Yeah, also your enchant. There's going to be a big enchant to get from this thing.
Of what a world will look like when it was corrupted by Azoth's influence, which is pretty fitting with the War Within, as well as its voidy themes and one of its main antagonists of Xal'atath involved. You will be able to essentially, through this Visions, traverse and explore a variation of a Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and the scenario that you'll be able to play through will change every single week. This content can be done solo or in a group of up to 5 players, so very similar to Delves. And players will also, like in Delves, would even have access to a companion that essentially acts like Bran, but just slightly better. And this additional companion that you get that's very similar to Bran is actually a new feature, as the original Visions did not feature anything like this.
Yeah.
And the companion is Sorodormi, which can either protect you, heal you, or deal extra damage.
So tank, heal, and DPS. Okay, yeah, she's gonna act just the same as a Bran, which is nice. We didn't have this feature back when Horrific Visions went live, so certain classes just found these Visions to be easier than others. This is kind of, an even of the playing field here.
Or if you want to run solo, you can just tell them that you do not require assistance throughout the run. And the companion is actually quite good compared to Bran in particular, like the tanky variation. I feel like if you're running with a tank Bran as a DPS, he dies pretty easily, so you kind of want to pair him together with a healer. But when you run a tanky version of Sorodormi construct,
double tanks,
it doesn't die. Like for one reason or another, during PTR testing, it never died. It's very effective healer and a very effective damage dealer. And in some,
I'm gonna try the double tank version of this, blood DK and then tanking Sorodormi. We just never die, but it takes us 2 hours to complete the thing.
In some cases, it can even solo
we can't kill
bosses
anything
for you, though I'm pretty sure that the release version of Vision likely won't be doing the same exploits as we did on PTR. And back in the day, Visions had a limit of how many of them you could run, but they're coming back to War Within in limitless capacity. You can run Visions as much as you humanly want to, and essentially grind them out endless if that's how you choose. So if you just looking to unlock all the rewards day 1 or even week 1, you're more than welcome to absolutely tear through the content immediately. Now, the entrance to Visions is actually located right next to that big opening hole that takes you all the way to the Ringing Deeps. A little bit south of that, you have yourself this nice standout area for the Bronze Dragonflight that helps you dive back into Visions. There's a variety of different vendors here, some of which will include rewards that can be obtained from these Visions from pets, mounts, and more. But then there's also catch-up vendors that can actually help you obtain up to hero track items and guaranteed gear that you'll be able to purchase directly.
Hero track items. I mean, nobody should be lacking gear after these things go live. Seriously, everybody should be fully hero tracked out. There's been so many catch-up mechanics, and the whole Winds of Fortune thing with the leveling and all, that's ending when this goes live. But that doesn't even matter at this point because you're going to be able to get more gear from here, and this thing's going to be a very quick way to gear out.
On your main character or something that you can actually make as a warbound thing for your alts as well. I am going to double back on the rewards a little bit later after we go through all of the basics, but one of the main currencies you'll be able to earn throughout Visions is displaced corrupted mementos, which are very similar to the corrupted mementos from BFA, although if you've earned any of those mementos back in battle for Azeroth, they're not transferable for War Within. So you'll have to earn a new type of corrupted mementos for this occasion, although with the fact that you can run Visions as much as you want to, farming this becomes a lot easier this time around. Completing Visions also allows you to gain access to a questline to unlock corruptions. Corruptions back in the day were enchants that corrupted your gear, giving you positive benefits with additional power, but also negative benefits that you had to play around with within raids and dungeons, as well as in PvP. It was a unique mechanic that kind of just got abandoned, but it's being brought in some capacity. Although, instead of having a kiss and a curse mechanic for these, they're just going back as helm enchants, and they come with a variety of different powerful bonuses.
This is the first thing you're going to want to buy because there's a lot of player power connection to this. We've gone through the statistical changes, you know, a few percentage points boost to your DPS and everything else, which matters for an enchant. It's good. It means it's better than you know, just your average Andy enchant. But this is the first thing. Especially if you're pursuing, you know, higher power levels and everything else that you're going to want to get. And I forgot which one was the best one. I believe it was Echoing Void was the one to get.
Powerful
but I'd have to look at the stats
Some of these corruptions are going to summon the void to assist you directly through various powerful blasts and effects, either radiating void around you, corrupting foes, bleeding them out, or sending powerful void energies right in front of you, or possibly empowering your character instead. There's a bunch of different corruptions, and you'll learn them in lesser quality, and then you'll unlock greater quality, but both of them can be completed through a quest that can be obtained, and all the materials for those quests and the requirements can be obtained within Visions themselves. It overall results in a decent bit of a power gain for the season for all of our characters,
like 2%.
which is just a slight little boost for you to make those raids and dungeons just a little bit easier. Now, the basic loop of a vision is to try to get through as much of the vision as possible, looking to obtain as many rewards as well as a lot of the secrets, killing as many enemies as you can, but also venturing further in and deeper into visions with a final confrontation at the end of a run, either fighting Thrall in Orgrimmar or Alaria in Stormwind.
And if you never did these boss fights before, they're actually kind of mechanically intense. You just got to basically dodge things, go behind some pillars, get out of the void puddles. There's some things that you got to do or you will die, but they're nothing like insanely challenging. I would say they're a little bit harder than delve bosses. I feel like delve bosses are a bit easier than these guys, but they're kind of the same.
As you encounter a lot of the enemies within Visions, not all of them are going to hurt your health bar. In fact, some enemies directly affect a mechanic called Sanity.
Yeah.
You don't always just have to manage.
And that was the main thing that would get you in those boss fights. Wasn't necessarily that they would take your health to zero, it's that they would drain your sanity very quickly. So you just got to be careful with that.
Health bar within Visions, some enemies will attack your sanity instead, and if enough abilities hit your sanity, that's going to drain your sanity bar. Once your sanity is drained, even if you're fully healthy, that means you lose the run of that vision completely. So, as you venture through the vision, you're trying to manage sanity as best as possible, and there are a few ways that you can restore sanity. First one being a sanity restoration orb, which will have unlimited capacity.
I don't understand that part. So the corruption gonna buff the character like 2 or 3% damage? Yeah, there is an enchant. There's like a corruption enchant that you're gonna get for your helm. And yeah, that'll give you about a 2 to 3% buff to your DPS.
Which means as you're running your visions, you'll have to space them out a little bit to try to cover as much ground while also not running out of the sanity bar. So you have to use these items sparingly. But also different tasks within visions like killing elites or fighting certain unique potions can actually help restore your sanity as well. But the idea is to explore as much of the visions as you can and try to make it out alive, finding the final boss to obtain better rewards.
Right.
However, to make your time within Visions a little bit easier, there will be an hourglass of horrific visions, which is where you'll be able to get upgrades to stay in Visions longer.
An upgradable talent tree.
You can upgrade the orb, for example, in order to give you more sanity. You can increase your maximum sanity for you and your party if you play with other players, reduce how much sanity is being drained within Visions, and even reduce damage taken by enemies within these runs. Even give you abilities like a cheat death effect, as well as a revive Or if, let's say, you need to revive allies, it'll cost you no sanity, which normally you have to split with your allies. And you can even get powerful abilities like Gift of the Titans, which can grant you a bunch of haste, but also reducing sanity loss from all sources for a short bit of time, which can definitely save you in a very tough run. And you can unlock all of these just by venturing into visions and then spending the currency of displaced mementos to upgrade the hourglass, which you'll be able to do pretty easily thanks to the mask system. Because basic runs of visions...
But I believe there's like some version of time gating on this thing. Like you can't upgrade that. You can't just grind it out and upgrade that entire talent tree like in a single week or something. I forgot what was the time gating thing behind this. I don't know if it was the masks or what. You get one of these a week maybe or something, these upgradable things. But I think this is going to take like the rest of the patch, basically, to fill out this tree completely. But I forgot what the version of time gating was that they linked to this thing. Blizzard just loves time gating. Oh, what can I say?
Because basic runs of visions are not that difficult, but where they do become a lot more harder and a lot more rewarding is after you acquire a couple of masks, which function like affixes within horrific visions. These masks need to be discovered within visions. Some will be found in Orgrimmar, some will be found in Stormwind as you venture further in, but then there will be 3 extra masks that have been added for the Return of Visions that you will have to unlock through very unique quests or little interactions found within visions specifically. Every single mask is a different affix that actually can increase the difficulty of your runs. But it also increases the rewards at the end of those runs as well. Baseline, every single mask is going to increase the effectiveness of enemies. So with 3 masks, you increase an enemy's damage by 75% and enemy's health by 75%. But it also increases the amount of corrupted mementos you gain at the end of a run. And every single mask has a different effect. Like Burning Bridge, it basically spawns void zones as you move, and those void zones will drain sanity, which means you have to be very careful how you position yourself within. Daredevil will increase the amount of sanity damage that you take from creatures, and Long Night will just reduce your maximum sanity by 50%.
So I used to feel like some of these were harder than others. Long Night would make like boss fights really hard because your sanity is basically going to get drained very quickly. Whereas there's other ones. That Burning Bridge one was an original. Just the void puddles, you just gotta move. You gotta be mobile when this one. So some classes are gonna have a harder time with this than others. I didn't like Visions back in BFA, and now they're returning. Well, I mean, what did you not like about Visions? For me, I said what I didn't like. I hated the currency grind of getting the key to go into a vision, because if you fucked up, you had to go back and regrind everything. That was annoying to me. That's gone. So these are horrific visions as we remember them in BFA, but with slight tweaks to some of the annoying stuff getting removed. I feel like a lot of the things that players complained about back in BFA, they're not part of this version of Horrific Visions. So maybe you'll like it this time around.
Reduce your maximum sanity by 50%. So some of these affixes are going to be very straightforward, giving you
no, I'm going to do Malton. I'm going to be doing these.
Others are just going to make some of this content just a little bit harder and a little bit more challenging. And the idea and the goal is for Visions is to try to run with as many masks as possible as you get the most amount of mementos. But then there's also unique rewards for like a hard mode run where you have every single mask enabled, where enemies have a lot more health and a lot more damage, and you have all of these different affixes for you to take account in order to make your way through these runs. And while a full mask run is going to be quite challenging, the rewards for it are actually kind of good and definitely are worth it, especially for somebody who wants to add more items to your collectibles. However, within Visions, they did add an extra bonus mechanic for you to work on, and that is tributes. We have Tribute of Experimental Destabilization over here, there's the Clear Sight Tribute, there's Elite Extermination, as well as Vision Hunter. And these are new. I'm pretty sure these were not back in BFA, but essentially as you complete certain objectives within Visions, you actually can gain permanent bonuses to make those runs a little bit easier. So for example, with the Tribute of Vision Hunter, you simply need to slay empowered enemies within Visions in order to gain movement speed whenever you slay a target. With the Tribute of Elite Extermination, it kind of does what it reads on a tin. You have to slay empowered elites within Visions in order to advance it, and as you gain more ranks within this Tribute, you'll actually be able to regain sanity whenever you kill an elite, which can help you manage the sanity within Visions.
I feel like this was a thing. I remember like chasing down an elite to try to gain sanity back. I think these existed.
With a Tribute of Experimental Destabilization.
I don't remember them being called tributes, but I remember that being a thing back in BFA.
Or bosses you slay within Visions, the more buffs you gain from your sanity, where above 50% sanity, you actually gain additional bonus damage, but below 50% sanity, you actually take less damage.
I also remember this being a thing.
Then there's a unique Tribute of Clear Sight, where you need to collect as many potions and even odd crystals, which are unique little treasures, within Visions. the more of those you collect.
Yeah, I agree. They didn't exist in this version, but I do remember like elites, killing an elite gave you sanity back. Like there was a version of that. I don't know if it was like something with your cape or whatever, or I don't remember how you unlock that, but that was a thing.
The better your sight within visions is going to be, allowing you to see various treasures within different pockets of a vision scenario. And the rewards from visions are actually pretty great. You can actually see some of them out here in the main grounds. We have a corrupted set for each and every single armor type. You get the plate,
eyeball
you
tentacle
got mail,
sets.
you got leather, as well as the cloth set, included together with the weapons that you can purchase. The weapons themselves are actually functional. They're actually a bit of a damage gain, but also there's various vision gear that you can get from within vision runs, champion track, and even up to hero track. So it means there's going to be yet another opportunity to gear a character. Outside of this, we have new rewards, but also old rewards returning this time around. One of the best ones being a corruption of the aspects mount, which is quite unique looking.
Badass.
You got a pet of the same variety. You got back pieces, so if you ever gotten like the original back piece from Rathian back in the day,
people
you'll
love
be able
this
to know
backpack.
to get a different variation of it. There's a Wicked Swarmer, which is an older mount that's making a return, but also a variation of the legendary cloaks, all 3 recolors as well as 3 models that you would normally upgrade, but now you can just purchase directly. Variety of different cosmetic vision-based pieces as well, and this doesn't include some of the vision rewards you can get from the runs themselves specifically, like a Void Scarred Griffin, for instance, a Void Scarred Pack Mother, as well as a Void Scarred Windrunner mounts.
Yeah.
Then there's also a profession base mount, which is a Void Crystal Panther that jewel characters will be able to craft from within vision runs, but also a Nyalothan Shadow Worm, which is kind of like the challenge mode run for vision specifically. Then there's also a unique hidden mount that you can find.
I would say this is cool. This is going to be a cool mount. But what I would say is for people who didn't like horrific visions, or still maybe won't like horrific visions, you just really, to get the enchant, you got to minimally run this thing. Just run it a couple times to get the helm enchant, and then you never have to go back to it if you don't want to. Besides that, there really isn't player power to be gained. Unless maybe you're under-geared, extremely under-geared. Other than that, just get the helm enchant and then never go back.
Within visions, and you'll actually have to construct this mount for yourself, and that is the Voidfire Death Cycle itself, which is a mount that you first need to encounter within visions, and then you'll need to collect the parts in order to be able to put it together, which is a bit of a quest line in its own way, where you'll need to do a mix of open world content, like travel to different places to get the parts from a variety of different vendors, but also do more vision runs to collect components in order to be able to put this thing together. But it's yet another mount that you can add to your collection, and definitely one of the best ones and one of the most unique ones out there. Visions will also be a pretty good source of currency for upgrading your gear. So when you're thinking of things like your Valor Stones or even crests, as visions actually will have a decent bit of those currencies as well. I am not 100% if these are farmable or not. I'm pretty sure they actually are going to be farmable, though they're going to be linked to the mask run specifically, but visions could potentially be an alternative way for you to be able to farm Gilded Crests for this season, unless they're capped. On PTR, I don't remember if they were capped.
It would be nice if they're not capped. Like, you know, for right now, like to basically uncapped Gilded Crest grinds, and this is one thing I've said before, they can only come from Mythic Plus, really. Uncapped Mythic Plus grinding is done through Mythic Plus, and it feels like that's the only way to really just completely grind out Gilded Crests. Everywhere else, it's capped. I mean, it's capped in a way from Raid because, you know, you can only kill each boss once. That's it. You can't go back and re-kill the same boss twice in a week. Whereas for Mythic Plus, you can go back and rerun the same dungeon 10 times in the same week and get Gilded Crests every single time. So that always felt like an unfair advantage to anybody who does Mythic Plus. I hope that they make them uncapped here. Because right now, Delves are capped, Raid is capped, even questing, you can't do the same quest twice in a week. Okay, that's capped. So it would be nice if we had another version of uncapped Gilded Crests where if you just need a couple, you're like, hey, let me go do a quick Horrific Vision. Rather than right now, the only way you could really do that is, oh, let me go do a quick, Mythic Plus if you've done all the other content already.
So that's something we'll find out once the content comes out in just a handful of days. But if they're not capped, this could be an alternative way for you to be able to solo grind a bunch of your Undermine quests, which may especially be good for those of you that are more Delve players than solo players. Like if you're not a big fan of group content like Mythic Plus Dungeons, Visions may actually be one of the best content for you in order to be able to grind out that gear currency. But with that being said, as always, I don't want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give it a like. I would very much appreciate it. Also, join our Discord community if you want to keep up with all the regular updates or patch notes regarding current patch 11.15 or future updates like 11.17.
Very nice.
Also, let me know all your thoughts, what you think about the Visions in the comments down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.
Yeah, I'm excited for Horrific Visions. This was the thing I was most excited for when the patch first launched, and unfortunately we didn't get it with the launch of the patch, so it's been kind of like a wait right now to be able to get these things. I will say, don't forget, Horrific Visions are not just solo content. You can do these in a party. You can do these in a group. So if you got friends, you know, unlike most WoW players, maybe you got a friend or two out there. Yeah, you could run these things together. Good news from Dalaran, and excited to do Horrific Visions.